Hello and welcome to Nitro Talk. If you're into nitro engines, nitro vehicles, anything at all to do with the nitro side of the RC hobby, I really appreciate any support. Like, subscribe, comment. Love the comments. Thank you very, very much. We are still working on the Savage, but today is going to be a video on the LRP ZR.30X. I have not done a video on this specific engine. I certainly want to tear this down and give it a rebuild, so we will check it out, discuss it while we do that. And I was actually thinking, before I get into that, real quick, a couple things. I was actually thinking, so originally I was going to rebuild this and put it right back in the Savage, but I'm kind of thinking now, we've already ran this in the Savage, even though we didn't really get to run it good. I think, our second gear issue, no first gear issue, and also, but I was kind of thinking, how about let's, I put that up, and I haven't done any other monster block. I refer to, you got small block, big block. Yes, this is a big block, but I call the 28 and up engines, kind of my slang term for them, are the monster block engines. They're generally for monster trucks. I haven't done much with monster block engines in a while. I've been doing my 21 bump start buggy engines pretty much exclusively. I'd like to maybe run something different. Maybe what I was thinking, bust out the old Surefire 32, an engine that has a long history with me. It's one of the first engines I owned, first nitro engines. I've ran it many times in many vehicles. I haven't ran one in a few years. Maybe pull that out and mount it in the old Savage here. Or Serio 30. There's it, or just maybe a Mach 26, something, throw something else in there. I was thinking about that. And then another thing, real quick, and I'll talk about this more when we do the video when we put the Savage back together. So as I was working on this tranny, and I had noticed this before, this drive cup is pretty beat. All right. I don't have any spares. And I looked, they are available, but they're not cheap, about 20 bucks, and that's from China. What I saw, maybe, and I really just looked on eBay. Maybe if I did a little bit more searching, I could find them easier. But I was thinking, what else can I fashion for that, right? I was kind of thinking if I could figure out a way to make a Hyper 7 one work, then I got a crap ton of spares, right, for that. But no, the shaft is different size. If it was just the pin thing, I was thinking if the only difference was this has a pin that screws in and the other has a pin that goes through and is tightened down with a grub screw in that direction, I could just put like some heat shrink around it or something to hold the pin in place. But no, it's different shaft size, so the hyper parts aren't going to work. So I was going through, looking and seeing what I had, and I came up with this, which is an MGT drive cup, right? And what I found was, at first I thought, when I had this on there, I was like, man, I bet you it's because it's larger, it's going to hit on this is where you connect the reverse mechanism to these ears right here. I was like, oh man, it's going to hit probably, and I don't want to shear those off. But then, so I took that off, and no, I'll tell you what, same shaft. It's the same setup with the screw. It's threaded. It does not hit those things. It fits absolutely perfectly in all ways. And so then I was thinking, not only can I put this here to replace that drive cup, you can replace the Savage one with the plastic. You can replace that with the metal MGT one. That is a direct replacement for that. So that's a good little tip right there. Use MGT parts on the Savage. But I will be replacing that drive cup with this MGT drive cup, and we'll talk about that. All right. But today, what we're doing is rebuilding, taking a look, discussing the LRP ZR.30X, which, let me go ahead and get on this. I've said it before. I'll say it again. My vote, if I had to place a vote for the all-time, all-around, everything considered, best monster truck engine of all time, my vote would be for the ZR.30X right here. There are more powerful engines. There are cheaper engines. There are engines with more parts availability. But considering all of those things, this, in my opinion, is the best of both all worlds. For a monster truck, you cannot beat, in my opinion, the ZR.30X. All right, take our head off. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and remove this Savage mount because, yeah, I've pretty much decided I'm going to throw something else in here. We're going to get some Savage videos with a different engine. And I tell you what, anybody got any ideas what you would like to see in the Savage? More than likely I got it. And maybe we'll throw her in there. So remove our classic Savage mount. I'll tell you what, I bet you I've got, let me guess how many Savage mounts I have. At least 5, I would say. That's a good guesstimate. Now I gotta go check. Pause. All right. So those are actually Savage mounts right there. Those are some 2-piece Savage mounts. It's a mount plate. Crap load of T-Max mounts. There's a nice red T-Max mount. Those are MGT mounts. Looks like 3 of those in there. Let's see. There's 3 Savage mounts. Do I got any more in here? Is that it? More T-Max. I got, looks like 6 or 7 T-Max. Anyways. All right. The classic Savage mount. It's recognizable, right? You know immediately that you're looking at a Savage mount. All right. I'm rambling. Let's get these screws out of here. We'll see what kind of clutch we got on here. Probably got a standard 3-shoe, and I was noticing it's not shimmed very well. That's a little more play than I like. Let's go ahead and take this pull start off of here. And I was going to convert this to roto, but if I'm going to rebuild it and then put it up, I'll probably put the pull start back on it for storage. Throwing my tools. Now, I should mention this. So, if you'll notice, see how my pinky here is back behind the pull start. I'm doing that on purpose. I'm holding that pull start in place as I remove the screws. No matter where I come around, I'm going to keep one finger holding that pull start pressed against the engine. These can be spring-loaded, It's not, you know, a crazy spring, but there's a little spring in there sometimes. And you want to be the one taking the pull start off. You don't want the pull start coming off on its own. All right, so I've got all the screws out. Where's my flathead? And what I will generally do, there we go, is I'll grab a flathead screwdriver. And I will come in here and I will use the flathead to hold the mechanism of the pull start in place, all right, so that it can't pop out of there. And then now that's the same style as the Nova Rossi. You know what? I bet you that's pretty much direct. Where did that go? I just pulled that Nova Rossi pull start off. What the heck did I do with it? It looks familiar. It looks like that's the exact same one. Yeah, I don't know where it is, but I'll find it and we'll do a contrast and compare about that. All right. We got our pull start off. We can go ahead and come to our back plate. 2.5 millimeters. I like it. Oh, a little tight. Good thing they're 2.5 millimeter. If that was a 2 millimeter, that kind of tightness. Holy crap. Yeah, those things are a little over tightened. Let me see here. That one not quite as bad. 3 and 4. Alrighty. Now I'm going to pull off my head button. Little shimmy. It looks like there's a sleeve coming out with it. Almost looks like. I can grab the glow plug with some pliers. There we go. And my piston is, I don't like, looks like it's almost all the way up. I didn't like that. All right, take our back plate off. It is non-interference. And lower our piston down. Will the sleeve come right out? Looks like it is. Started to. Usually the first part is the hardest. There we go. And we will now take off our piston. And now I'm going to go ahead and remove this clutch. Looks like a 2 millimeter here. And this has a spacer there, but the spacer was not big enough because it had too much play. Big spacer. 2 shoe. Now, okay, I bet you what happened here is, here, you know what, let's take a look. Where in the heck did my Savage 21 book go? Did the Savage 21 come stock with a 2-shoe clutch? Okay, that's my question. That's what I'm guessing. And they put it, when they swapped the engines, they just put directly the 2-shoe clutch from the stock 21 onto here. Is that what y'all think happened? Did the stock 21 Savage come with a 2-shoe clutch? I'm not sure. Let's take a look, see. Now clutch is going to be in here. Radio box, shocks, drive shafts. All right, there we go. Yep, clutch shoe X2. So yes, came with a 2-shoe clutch stock. So I would say that that is probably the stock 2-shoe clutch. But I tell you what, look at those shoes. They do not look worn at all, barely. I can't even, those shoes almost look brand new, don't they? Tell you what, that, maybe that's one of the reasons of not getting good wheelies is because clutch is weak. Springs are not bad. Interesting. All right, and let me just go ahead and yak these off with a screwdriver the easy way. 1 and 2, and we'll do it the right way. Grab us a flywheel wrench and take our clutch nut off like such. All right, so there's our clutch, shoes, springs, and nut. And we'll give the flywheel tool a shot. Sometimes, I've had decent luck with it lately. It's been working pretty good. Let's see. Give it a little help. Lordy, that thing is on there. Yeah, it's just bending. So, I hate getting tappy on a nice engine because inevitably you're gonna tap the, give it some. You know what? How can I can. I don't want this video to be about repairing my flywheel tool. Okay. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it this way. Let's put the tap up here instead of down there. Aha. So I'll hold that there. Boy, that freaking thing is on there. There we go. Aha, that was not a bad idea, right? Avoided beating the shit out of our crankcase there. All right, there's our flywheel and collet. And we can then pull our crank out. Crank. All right, carb. Yet again, every single time we remove a carb, we gotta, and I like this one. I just figured this out probably like a year ago, but ever since, it's one of my favorite things to do. So, unscrew the bolt to where you got some play there, and then just lightly tap it, and that pushes the pinch bolt on the other side out, right? And then, and of course, this one is locked. So not doing that didn't help it. It certainly didn't hurt it either. Let me go ahead and let me pull that out. Push. Interesting. Let me push that. All right. Let's see if we can get y'all in here to see what I see. Can you see in that hole? Yes, you can. So you see the pinch bolt over on the other side, right? The other pinch bolt. But what's that black down there? That almost looks like a piece of some O-ring or something. At the bottom of the hole, there's something in there. Let me get that other pinch bolt out. All right, so there's that. Oh yeah, that's looks like a piece of O-ring. See it in there? That is not supposed to be in there. So something. Oh. Yeah. This thing. Now that's why I hate metal on metal carbs. They're the only ones that really do this. Lock into each other. And this thing certainly is. I'm getting a wiggle. I'm getting some movement. Pulling up as I'm wiggling. You know what? I'll be right back. I'll be right back when I get finished this. Y'all don't want to watch me wrestle it for 2 more minutes. All right. So this is what we're dealing with. I don't want to wipe this or do anything. So this looks like a lot of this is going to wipe right off. Let me go ahead and give it a... yeah, a lot of that was just like oily residue. But we do got, looky there. Oops, sorry. Looks like a rough spot right there, almost in the mold, it looks like. But then, in here is where we got issues. If you look in there, that does not look good. Are we zoomed good? Yeah, it does not look good in there. So we're going to, I'll figure out what I'm going to do with that here in a bit. Probably clean it out good and just run a carb with an insulator on it and not try to put a metal one back in there. All right, so we got it taken apart. I'm going to go ahead now and hit the ultrasonic bath with these parts. And then I'll come back with the clean engine and we'll take a look and put her back together. See y'all shortly. Real quick, I was getting ready to throw this stuff in the bath and I saw this. I wanted to show y'all because it just looks funny to me. So remember when we were looking through there and we saw that little thing, right? That ain't supposed to be there. Check this out. It's actually, you can see it looped up. Makes a little upside down U shape. That was not installed properly. Looks like it's too large. I mean, it's in all the way around and it's got all that excess. Did someone replace that O-ring? Hard to say. I mean, is that factory? It's weird anyway, but I don't know. I'm about to clean her up and we'll see. See y'all in a bit. All right, so we've got everything spotlessly clean here. We can kind of get a better look at what is going on. in our carb throat here. And it's, not the worst thing, but not great either. So as you can see, it's pretty ate up in there. Come on, zoom. It's pretty ate up in there. We got our O-ring coming up into our pinch bolt area there. And just a general not sexy look inside there. That's why I've always been so much against the metal on metal carb throat setup. Now, what I've been doing, and don't take this as advice, right? This is something that I'm testing, okay? It's just in the preliminary stages of testing. What I've been doing is putting some Molykote on, the metal itself, right? Not so much, yes, for lubricant, but also to try to prevent the metal from doing its thing, you know what I mean? Like sealing the metal. And I haven't, I've had good luck with it so far, but it's still testing. Don't, do it your own risk. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and rip this O-ring out of here. Now, what I intend to do in here really is just, I'm going to try to smooth it the best I can. I don't know if I'll be able to replace this O-ring. There's our, it's a pretty thick O-ring. So I'm going to smooth this as best I can in here. Oh yeah, look up in here. Just see just scratches. That's from that stuff. All right, I'm going to take my Dremel with a rubber, what is it? Is it polishing or, and see if I can smooth in there best I can, and then I'll see if I can get an O-ring in there. So let me grab my smoothing stuff, and I'll be seeing in a sec. All right, so good news, bad news, and factory defect. I hate to say it. I hate to say that this engine manufactured by SH has a factory defect, but it absolutely does. It's going to be hard to get a good zoom in here, so I took a picture, and I'll throw that in right now. Take a look at this picture. All right, and we'll see what we can see, basically what we were just looking at. So our mold, it looks like improper molding, but you almost think this would be machined in there, but apparently not, because that looks like an incomplete molding right there. Just pieces, chunks missing. But I was able to get another O-ring into the groove all the way around properly, if we can get in there. So even though the groove is messed up, right, pretty much all the way around, there's chunks missing out of the top of that groove there. I did smooth it out the best I could. It feels a lot better. I do have that O-ring down there. This engine was running okay prior to the teardown. So I think there's a good chance, even with that factory defect there that I hate to say, I think there's a good chance that this thing is still going to run good. So I'm going to put another carb on it, a non-metal carb. So I Molykoted that O-ring before I put it in there, but I want to get very good, best I can, moly coat all around in there. And we're coming in with a composite carb here. I'm going to put this Novarossi carb on it. And I got a fresh O-ring on there. So, which way does Savage carburetor pull just like a buggy? No, it pulls that way, backwards. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and throw this Novarossi carb on here. And now I was saying that I'd like to test this thing. Yeah, we got some little bit of damage inside that carb throat, but I don't think we're going to have, I think it's going to run fine still. I'm going to moly coat the best I can. Now, these are non-O-ring pinch bolts here. I always prefer O-rings on my pinch bolts, but these do not have them. So, in lieu of that, I just like to, they're machined to fit good, but I give them a little bit of moly coat around them. Just, it ain't gonna hurt. All right. So we've got our pinch bolt in place. Am I not getting over there to it? The heck? Oh, well, no, it can't go in backwards. What the heck? Why can't I reach? It's like the pinch bolt isn't reaching. I can't catch the threads of it. All right, so that one's flush. This one isn't really flush, but it's only out a millimeter or two. Should be plenty of room. Let me try without the, there we go. Do I need that? Yeah, it's a locking washer. All right. All right, now we got a grip on our pinch bolt. All right. I'm not going to lock this down. I'm going to leave this, and it spins fine. I think, you know what? How straight. The other one was kind of cockeyed. Okay. I don't want to lock the carb into place and then have it not straight pull. So I just got to remember to lock that carb in place. I've made that mistake before, right? Leave the carb unlocked because I want to adjust it later, right? But then when I install it, it just so happens to line up perfectly and I forget to lock it in place. So don't let me forget to lock it in place. But I think with the Novarossi carb, I think it's going to work fine, even though we had a little bit of damage in there. All right, so we've got that repair out of the way for our carb throat, and I think the engine should be fine. Let's go ahead and take a look. Is my rear bearing shot? Do you hear that? It was frozen. I had to put a little bit of torque on it to spin it to get it moving. I mean, it feels okay now. I don't know what the heck that was. Put a little bit of oil on it. Now it feels all right. Boy, I tell you what. Got a standard steel bearing in here, of course. Now it feels fine. Steel in the front, of course. Rubber sealed. Let's see if we can see some air through there. No, looks airtight so far. The classic black X-Tech 30 size. Got team right there. ZR30 up on the carb throat. These are shine cuts there on the X-Tech is shine cut out, looking very good. Shine cut there and paint, print there. Shine cut print. That's our crankcase on our ZR30. Take a quick look at that head, LRP ZR.30X. I always kind of like these heads. It's a great blue color. The graphics are kind of understated, but still, pretty cool. Got some nice shine cuts going on. The LRPs had decent heads here. Even got some drilled out for lightning on there. Lighten it up a bit. Let's look at that crank, which is just, you can tell this thing is made for power. It is just no frills, right? No super fancy stuff. Just opened up, absolutely huge, right? Monster opening. We got our triple fang, what I like to call the scallop fang. We do have our shark fin on the leading edge right there. Nice, and any excess is cut away. It's a fairly light crank. Again, huge induction window, just monster induction window, and nice and smooth in there, opened up, just made for airflow. Just, you can move a lot of air through that thing right there. It is just one big open passageway. Our crank is right there. Our head button is a standard, and it looks like it has been Todd turboed. I just noticed that. I looked in here and I was like, man, that is a beautiful Todd turbo on it. But then I saw that it has 2 washers, so yes, it was Todd turboed, and it was running perfectly fine, of course. Our back plate is a pull start back plate, traditional SH style. Got the black on the inside, even on our cutout right there. A little black in there with a little cut, little scratch on it. Not a whole lot going from the back there. Good. Boy, I'm just dropping everything. O-ring on our back plate. Looks like it's in great shape. No damage or anything to it. Looking good. Put a little bit of Molly Schmear on it. All right. Our piston. We got 3 oil grooves on this thing. 3 nice, deep oil grooves, right? 1, 2, 3. We don't have bypass holes, okay? No bypass holes. It is a flat top piston. We have a very beautiful SH, right? That's an SH knife edge right there. SH does one of the best knife edges in the business. And that is an example of it right there. Just a beautiful knife edge. Nice meaty conrod lower end there. About a medium skirt, not super high, not super low. Just a nice big 30 size piston and rod there. And our sleeve, our classic LRP 30. Like I said, pretty much the same deal with the crank, right? Just opened up huge for lots of airflow. Same thing here. Just monster ports all around. We got our exhaust right there. It's not a 3-piece, but got a little coming out there on the top corners. Nice and big, of course. Our intake / boost port. No big ramp on it. Got a little bit of a ramp there. Come on there, stop. little bit of a ramp, but no huge ramp. Just a nice big intake / boost port, very large. In our Schnurley situation, again, one huge Schnurley port. This one does have just a teeny little fang on it. See there in that back corner? Just a teeny little fang and a little ramp on the edge of it. And then we got our line style port back next to the exhaust right there. Same on the other side, little teeny baby fang. Nice angled ramp on that. You see how the ramp is angled, shallower at this end, deeper at that end, towards the rear. Just a, good looking work. Classic, nothing super fancy. Just some really big holes to move a whole lot of air is what we have right there. All right, so do we look at everything? That's our one-way bearing, which we're familiar with that. Now, this did get cleaned in the ultrasonic bath. Now, you know what? That's a starting shaft right there. It isn't. The Novorossi one was actually built onto there. That's kind of probably why I thought it was. All right, so there's our starting shaft. Let's go ahead and give her a test. Feels great. What I will do, right, this one feels nice and smooth and we're getting good grip. What I have done in the past, if I'm having a slipping one way and I can't, cleaning it really good, I can't get it to stop spinning, sometimes I will resurface the starting shaft here by putting it on my sanding sponge and pulling or spinning it to resurface that area, and sometimes that'll help it grip with the one way. All right. We took a look at everything. Let's go ahead and throw this thing back together. And you know what? Let's discuss it. That's what I would like to do. I'd like to hear y'all's opinion. It was running fine before with the O-ring. The bottom O-ring wasn't even fully seated. That all that damage was there already, right? That damage was there. It wasn't like that damage just happened. So I think we're in a better position now than we were. We got a fully seated O-ring. Everything's got a good coat of moly coat on it. I think we have less potential for leak now than we did before. So if it was running good before, I think this engine will run perfectly fine again. So number one, what's your opinion on that? Do you agree that you think it's going to run perfectly fine? And then number two, do you want to see it back in the Savage? Should I throw it back into the Savage? Or is it time to try another engine? And maybe you have a suggestion for that, maybe even. I'd love the comments all the time anyways, but I certainly will be looking at the comments on this. So what is your opinion on, I think it'll run fine. Let me go ahead and throw my shims back on here. We'll put our head button on. No rear indicator. We will throw our head back on, and our head bolts are back here. 1, 2, 3. And 4. And we will tighten down our head. Of course, obviously, doing crisscross applesauce. No any one bolt tightened all the way down until you get all of the bolts down and touching. All right. So we got those two. Essentially, see how I can still move that, but it can't come up they're touching, they're not tightened. So now I can go ahead and bring these ones on down and start tightening. Come on, can't find the hole. There we go. All righty. Our one-way bearing goes in. For these, I kind of try to set it at a 90-degree angle right there. And usually, did I get it? Why am I not going all the way in? And, oh, you know what? Let me put it. Are those galleys bigger than those galleys? So look at these two, right? And then these two. These two are wider. Is that, number one, is that true, or is my eye, are my eyes deceiving me? That one is 3.5 millimeters wide. That one is 2.5 millimeters wide. Are all one-way bearings like that? I thought that you could put it anywhere in all four of them. Have I never noticed that before? There we go. Line it up the right way. All right, and our back plate, 2.5 millimeters, and we are not going to lock them down crazy tight like they were. We're just going to give them a good, proper snugging. Snug them up real nice. Again, even though this back plate is nowhere near as important, it's harder for it to warp, but I'll still not fully tighten any one down until I get them all up in there. All right, so we're going to throw our starting shaft on here, and we're going to throw our pull start back on for the moment. And I'm going to wait for some feedback on do we need to test this thing, or I feel pretty safe in the fact that I think this engine is going to run perfectly fine. What do y'all think? All right, our spring is in there. See our spring-a-ding-ding-ding. And we'll put that on there. And one of those was the clutch. And I'm going to put one and then the other caddy corner across from it. And then I can let go of the pull start because it will be held in place like such. And throw our last two screws in. And we'll give this thing a yank and make sure we're popping, no stopping. And then, yeah, so that is the rebuild and a look at the LRP ZR.30. This one with a little slight factory defect. A little bit of rough molding in there, I believe. Not great, but I don't think is going to prevent it from being a BA mofo. So, oh yeah, that is a lovely pop. No slipping of the one way. Let's go ahead and make sure our piston is at bottom. And I tell you what, that's a beautiful engine. She's in good shape. Now look at that crank there. We got very, I can hardly see any witness mark. This engine has not a lot of use on it. Still has a lot of life left. This engine is in great shape, other than the little carb snafu. But we got a Nova on there. It is a 9mm Nova, so we can do some damage. Is this even a 9 itself? I think this is, I believe this is an 8. Maybe not. Let's see. No, okay, it is a 9, so they're both 9s. Put it in or not. All right, y'all. See you for the next video, which is going to be putting the Savage back together. And we will, by that point, hopefully have figured out which engine we're going to put in it. I'm not going to put that 2-shoe back on. I will at least put, I'll probably put an old school 3-shoe, just like this, but with 3 shoes instead of the old 2 there. All right, y'all. See you in the next one. Have a great day.